Hello and welcome back again. We're starting here off with another lens, another lighting style, and some really interesting things are happening here. This is once again the Hack GH1 upscaled to 4K with the Sigma 50mm art with a 0.64 speed booster. All the MFT cameras have that, and for being 13 years old, this camera still looks amazing. I mean, looking at this, it has some less noise than some of the other cameras that I'll show. So really impressive. This camera being so old and the image actually looking so good. Same goes with the GH2, just small improvements with the GH2 here. Again, AI upscaled, which really, you're talking about both of these are 1080p cameras. The color is just a little bit better here. I think there's a little bit less noise. I think I got the GH1 looking a little better this time than last, but here the GH2, it still looks nice. It still has a special image that looks great to this day. And as we go on to the C100, this camera out of all of them, I've matched the color cards exactly. This one has the most correct colors for the UV light in the background above anything else I shot with. So I really find that interesting that the C100 lowest bitrate, one of the oldest sensors, looks so good here. To my eye, this is exactly what it looked like. The UV is absolutely perfect, and compared to the Blackmagic Cinema Camera next, which has a super sharp 2.5K sensor, but something's happening with the UV where it's just out of whack, and I don't know if that's due to the filter in front of the sensor or lack of UV filter in front of the sensor, but it's different here. But you know, this camera always impresses going back. The colors out of it are one of the best, and if you can deal with it, it has an amazingly pleasing image. The GH4 was the first 4K camera that I had. It had some, well, the sensor got very small, like BMCC size small when it was in 4K mode, and it's noisier than the BMC camera when you're using vlog. I mean, technically here it looks good, but there's noise in the shadows, which is an interesting thing that kind of happened from the GH4 on, where vlog kind of exposed some of that noise. The NX1, always super impressive. The colors just pop. UV is not, I mean, it's a little exaggerated here, but it's kind of a good exaggeration. Both the NX1 and Z6 sort of had that, but I'm always really impressed with how sharp this camera is, and for the age, it's really, it's kind of unmatched by anything Super 35 to this day for the amount of sharpness and lack of noise that you get. This is motion, but there's literally no noise. And this is kind of my go back to favorite. I've tried other cameras, come back to other cameras, but I always come back to the full frame Z6. The image, this had the least amount of adjustments needed. It just pops, and maybe it's the full frame sensor that does that. Even with 8-bit, it doesn't matter. You could record externally. With this, it looks awesome. It really does. The noise, the field of view, I love the full frame sensor, and I really always have. So hard to fault it. And this is a GH6, even with the speed booster. The tripod was sitting in the exact same spot. See, it's cropped in. UV with the C100 closest to perfect. I mean, everything else technically looks more better here than the other cameras, except for the noise. Now, if you look in the shadows, I don't know how much YouTube will show, but even with dynamic range booster off, the camera is just noisier at times than others with vlog, and I don't know if that's me or the camera doing that.